Welcome to another vlog here at Wolf of Dubai. We talking about stocks and finances here, so thumbs up if you like the video and want to support the channel for daily vlogs about everything around this topic. So I'm inviting you, if you are new here, subscribe, hit and smash that button. And today we are talking about Apple, the future, the stock, and a small preview what to watch for in Q2. It will be very interesting, so you will have all the information that you would need to know for your investment decision. And let's go! Let's start with some breaking news which was relevant for the stock of Apple, or the Apple family anyway, or the company. So we had, of course, Johnny Ive, Chief Design Officer, leaving the company, which was very surprising for those who read it the very first time. You know, there was rumors on the market. He was basically, who don't know him that well, he was the right hand of Steve Jobs. And you should know that he was, one of the mastermind behind all the design features of many of Apple products, and how they get so successful. Definitely had hit his signature besides Steve Jobs. And, the people are saying that, with leaving of Johnny Ive, there is the last spirit of Steve Jobs leaving the company as well. However, Apple's saying that they stay in touch. There will be the customers of Johnny Ive's new company, so they, it would be like something never change, whatever. However, we see that this erased a couple of $1 billion of the market cap of Apple, so it does matter. And I think also he was a very big part of the company, very important one, though there's a Wall Street Journal article that's saying that he was not attending any much of important meetings and so on, but that's rumors and that's not what you hear. You have all the facts, so stay tuned and thumb up. Then we go to the next one. iPhone 11 leaks, one of the breaking news, and surprise, no big deal. What does it mean? It seems that Apple, or many is saying that Apple don't make so much revolutionary hardware changes anymore, but I will come to the point why they doing later in the video, so stay tuned till the end. Make sure to subscribe if you are new here. But anyway, let's continue. So you see that many people saying that since Steve Jobs there's no revolution in hardware, and that's partially true. Of course, they after Steve Jobs they came the watch, very new products like the AirPods as well, very successful. So it's not that Apple don't bring good products anymore, it's just it doesn't revolutionize the industry anymore like it did. However, there's small changes in the overall design, so maybe not so much passion or power to push customer to buy new phones. This is actually the scarcity of the shareholders. That's why I put it in the breaking news that iPhone 11 leaks is not revolutionary. And last but not least, the trade war between US and China, Apple should be not that much affected, because US has a tariff exemption of iPhones because it's just such big chunk that coming from China, and it would hurt the US economy so much as Apple is almost, or was partially a 1 trillion company and have a lot of people engaging in the US. And if something like this would smash Apple, it would hurt US jobs, and this is not what Donald Trump want in the end. However, there are news that the manufacturing partner Foxconn moved production from China to Vietnam, And this is, worth to mention. Whatever, it will not so much affect the business of Apple, since they have to, say and guarantee a good outcome of the numbers of iPhones, obviously. Let's start with the category Apple stock. Just to my history with Apple, I invested just shortly before the iPhone 5 was released. I saw the iPhone 3 success, the iPhone 2, or the first iPhone success, the 2G, the 3G, the 4G, and I thought, well, with the design change of iPhone 5, this will go through the roof. And it actually was a very, very successful investment. It was a long-term investment. However, I don't own any stocks of Apple right now. And I would like to go with you inside the stock and, give you a couple of information so you can make your decision of the Apple stock, because I think it's worth to see inside what's going on with this stock. Let's start with some basics. So looking into the stock price, we have a gain of 30% this year, which is quite well. It's more than the S&P index did this year, and the market cap is around $932 billion, one of the most valuable companies in the world. And not only that, it's also, which we will come in a second to, the one of the most profitable company in the world. The PE, so the price earnings ratio, is just a little over 16, which is quite cheap. If you look into other tech company PE ratios, they are around 20, some are even 30, or even if you go in the league of Amazon and Netflix, they even up to 100, so this is very, very reasonable. And I think just based on this number, it's an interesting investment if you are just looking into this number. But not here on Wolf of Dubai. We look into all the details. So therefore, let's look also on the dividend, because Apple is paying dividend of 1.52%, which is okay. It's not the best returning dividend stock, but, they introduced it a couple years ago, which is good to give something back to the shareholders. But if you look into dividend history, you see that this is slowly increasing, which is also very positive. Let's go into the revenue. So the revenue in quarter-wise, year over year, on the last quarter ending March, was decreasing 5%, which is, some people say, the Apple reached its peak, and you usually say if a company reaches like 400 million market cap, it's very hard for them to grow. So therefore, these numbers may be afraid one or the other investor. But if we're looking into yearly revenue year over year, there's an increase of 5%. So still there's growth for this company year over year. If we look into the whole year 2018, so 1st of January till 31st of December 2008, so whole last year, there was an increase of almost 16% here. So you see the stock growth within a year time. I would like to go also with you to the margins, because EBITDA, so really whatever sits with the company in the end after all the operation costs and from the revenue is 30%, guys. 30% from the EBITDA margin. That's a very, very strong number, especially in the size. We are talking here one of the biggest companies in the world, producing hardware as well, with software together. So this number is very, very strong. And that's why, people like Warren Buffett just investing in this stock. But I will come to that point a little bit later on. Coming to one of my favorite price sales ratio, it's about 3.8, which is okay. It's not the cheapest, but also not the most expensive companies. So 3.8 is quite okay. And now comes my favorite part, telling you about Q2 preview and Apple's future into service. Now, you remember when I said that, the people or the market says that Apple don't bring innovative or life-changing hardware anymore. But what they really are very good in becoming is the software side. So if you have your iPhone right now, you see that, the hardware is okay. It's, matching up with the industry standards, maybe below, but have some other efficient features that the others don't have. Like, for example, the face scan is unique at Apple and very, very safe, and nobody could copy it so far. But what really, really is changing with Apple, and this has also something to do with its history, I will explain to you everything now, because this is very important for Apple's future. So you remember the story where the Trojan horse comes inside the village of the enemy, and they let it inside, and once the Trojan horse was inside, all the soldiers of the enemy went out of the Trojan horse and attacked them, and so on. So this is what Apple is doing actually with the hardware. So they're making very nice hardware, not the best, not the worst. It's great hardware, but the hardware is just one-time sale. So they're selling you $1,000 phone and that's it, right? So that's why they're coming up with new and new software products that are, has much less competition. Let's say there is like 100 different smartphone manufacturers versus Apple Music, which is a service that they sell to you, which has, maybe Spotify and maybe 2 or 3 other smaller competitor in this scale. So you can see here what Apple is doing. They are selling you the hardware, and which is a one-time cost, and then they are trying to sell you all the services. So we start with Apple Music, $10 per month. There is Apple TV coming, most probably $10 per month. iCloud up to, $20 per month. There is coming up the credit card. If you don't pay your credit card bills, there's, 5% on the outstanding or something similar. So these 4 categories: Apple TV, music, credit card, and iCloud is coming to your phone. And this is how they really make every month bucks from you. And this is this trend where the future of Apple is going. If you're looking into the history of Apple, you see that, what Steve Jobs have done from a computer company where the Apple's main revenue came from MacBooks and laptops, to a music company where the main revenue came from the iPod as well as iTunes, to a phone company where the main revenue currently coming from the iPhone, going to a service company where the main revenue will come from services. And I can tell you that the numbers are looking ridiculous. So last quarter, or the quarter Q4 2018, they made $9.9 billion, which don't seem so big on $250 billion revenue. But look at the growth numbers. And next quarter, the first quarter of 2019, they did already 11.5 billion revenue on the services. That's like a 15% on quarter. That means if they growing this fast, they can grow up to 50% in the service region, and this billions numbers. And this is huge, guys. This is really huge. And this is, I think, also what Warren Buffett is betting on. The companies going into the transition, becoming more and more a service company. The services of Apple are, as always, very, very premium, really good working. And I can imagine that, again, Apple can change industries, and in the service department, they are changing credit cards soon. Apple TV is surely something in the premium segment, not to compare with Netflix, because Netflix is putting 10 times that money on content expenses. So Apple will be having exclusive and premium content in some different kind of sceneries with, Oprah, Jennifer Aniston, and so on. So nothing to compare with the mega house Netflix. So you see that, Apple once again will change that, same like, I don't know if you guys know it, but Apple and Steve Jobs invented actually the podcast, how we know it. They took the iPod and the broadcast, and they put it together and said, okay, this is now podcast, so you can download the voice and the episodes of, you know, international and interesting radio shows and so on, wherever you want. So they was always about to change and set new standards, and I think this is the time. So this is what you actually, this is the most important number. How fast can the service department grow in the next quarter? So quarter numbers are released on the 30th of July, so end of this month. We are very, very interested, and I definitely will make another vlog about this. So enjoy my other videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day. And don't forget, the grass is greener on the other side. Thanks.